Hi, Sean, the teen librarian here at the Palm Springs Public Library, and this is our tutorial video for magnetic slime from the unknown, also known as black magnetic slime. So we'll go over briefly what you have in your kit, but I do want to make it very clear to be very careful when working with the powdered iron as well as the magnet. For the powdered iron in particular, when you're working with it, wear gloves, which I've provided, and also a mask, which you should have anyway. So let's get started. We're going to make some magnetic slime. All right, let's get started. Now first, what I've given you is giving you 2 ounces of white glue, 2 ounces of liquid starch, about 2 tablespoons of iron oxide powder, 1 very powerful magnet, some gloves, and some stirring sticks. You're going to need a bowl. You may even want a plate. The bowl, if it's glass, or well, if it's glass, that'll work best. But just keep in mind, it may be you want to use a bowl that you might want to just ruin. It does eventually clean up, but it is kind of a pain, so just keep that in mind because it's messy. I can't stress this enough. Just a couple safety notes. When you're working, as soon as I open this, I'm going to have a mask on. You got to be very careful when working with this stuff. You don't want to breathe it in at all. Also, I mean, just keep in mind, when you take the lid off, just take it slowly so it doesn't get in the air. So again, be very careful when working with the iron oxide powder. You'll probably hear me say this several times. You also want to be careful working with the magnet. It doesn't look like much, but this is a very powerful magnet, and if you're not aware of where it is, it'll attract right to the nearest piece of metal, and you just generally want to be careful working with anything that's this powerful. So be careful with that as well. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dilute the glue with about a tablespoon of water. So let's get this glue in here. And then go ahead and dilute it with about a tablespoon of water. Let's get this nice and stirred. This will help it mix with the powder that much easier. Get that nice and mixed. All right, and since now I'm going to open up the iron oxide, I'm putting my mask on. Can't tell you enough to please be careful when working with this. So I'd recommend maybe when you get started with this, just pour in a little bit at a time to incorporate it into the mix. It does kind of come out in chunks, so just be mindful it may just fall out, but just go ahead and start mixing this in. Also, you might want to work with a shirt or clothing that can get ruined. Again, this stuff does clean up, but again, it's kind of a pain, and I can't guarantee that it won't stain. I have not seen that it stains permanently, but just be safe. I'm wearing a shirt that I don't really care about, and you should too. One of the instructions I read about this was that some people might expect this to be a lot darker just from the beginning, given that our end result is a pitch black slime. However, this looks about right, this kind of cookies and cream kind of crumble mix here. But maybe I just have cookies and cream on my mind. Not uncommon. All right, now we're going to take the 2 ounces of liquid starch, and we're going to pour it in here, and then we're going to let it set for a little bit. I'm going to give it a good minute. So we're going to go ahead and pour this in and let it set for 1 minute. You're just going to pour it right on top or in. It's just kind of going to, you can definitely stir it, but I'm going to give it a little bit before we start kind of trying to make the slime. I'm going to let it kind of set a little bit. It's already starting to gel a little bit, so that's good. Let's give it just a little bit. All right, it's been a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and start kind of stirring this around. You don't have to beat it or stir it very, violently or fast or anything like that. You'll see it's already starting to kind of clump up, which is good. Eventually, I'm gonna pick this up and kind of knead it in my hands, and that is where it gets really, really messy. And again, it's one of the reasons why I strongly recommend wearing gloves. It's just a lot easier to clean up. But right now, what I'm kind of doing is I'm just kind of pooling the what would be the slime, the kind of the congealing material in the middle here. The liquid starch is helping that kind of firm up into a slime. And I think I'm ready. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer this over to a plate and kind of work with it above. I'm gonna keep this bowl of solution. It's the one that it has the liquid starch in it still, because you may from time to time, more than likely, be putting it back in the solution just to give it a little bit more. So you just keep that handy. All right, it's time to get messy. All right. Can't tell you how many times I've cleaned my desk. So just start kind of kneading it, and what you're doing at this point, and you of course can do this right over your bowl. It's up to you. I just prefer to have this kind of larger space to kind of work with. You're just kind of releasing the water, the liquid from it, but you're also kind of folding it in. And what I've noticed when working with this is that at times it feels like, oh, it's gelling up, it's becoming a slime, and then moments later it's a complete mess. Don't stop, keep kneading, because the more you get that liquid starch solution on, dispersed and kneaded throughout, the more it's going to gel up. And in fact, I think now is a good time to just kind of dip it back in. Just kind of give it a little bit more, bring it back over here. So now I'm just kneading it and incorporating. And I will say this is definitely the best one that I've made so far, the best one I've seen made so far in our attempts to get this right. It's already kind of, this nice little gel, or excuse me, slime. So that's good. Pretty happy with that. Depending on how much you take this back and forth, you're going to end up with this much slime, just to show you, or maybe even a little bit more. I've provided you with some clear cups and some lids, so if you want to store it. I don't know how long it stores, but I imagine it probably doesn't store very long. But you can store it for a little bit and show the awesome magnetic slime from the unknown that you've made. And there you go. All right, getting to the point now where I'm gonna take my gloves off just so I can show you exactly what I have, because I feel like a lot of it's kind of lost here, but I'm just kind of incorporating it. It definitely feels like slime, and it's not sticking to my glove as much as it did at the beginning, so that's good. You'll also feel little clumps of the powdered the iron oxide powder. When you feel those, just give them a little squeeze and burst them out, just so that they're nice and mixed in with the rest. All right, I'm going to move this over to a container. Take these off. Of course I got it on me. It's okay if you get it on you, just wash it off. It's not toxic, so it's fine. Just you want to be careful and not inhaling it. All right, and here we have our finished product, a little bit of magnetic slime. I'm going to take the magnet and try to show you how this reacts, how this reacts to this magnet. So you're just going to take the magnet and just bring it up kind of close. And look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. You can of course put it all the way in, and you'll see as you do, it just kind of envelops the magnet. It's the coolest thing. Oh man, it's so cool. You can wipe this off easily and just scrape it, put it back in. Other people have put it right on, and you'll see it just swallow it completely. How neat is that? It's perfect time for the next Venom movie to come out. Thanks so much for participating in this craft and watching the video. Hope you had a lot of fun. I know it was messy, and maybe that's why it was a lot of fun. Take care.